Our next bout of the evening is in the lightweight division and is brought to you by Valor 32. First, please welcome to the cage, Zach Craig.
With Casey Oxendine, I'm Vince Ferrara. Our next bout is bout number 4, presented by Valor 32. It's a lightweight bout at 155 pounds. It's Zach Craig at 1-1 out of Triangle Gym in Tryon, Georgia, taking on Creighton Shivell, making his MMA debut out of Bushido MMA in Kingsport, Tennessee. Casey, your thoughts on this matchup?
Well, this was a last-minute matchup here. Both of these fighters fell off with their opponents. Creighton Shivell, he's a local here and a great fan favorite, so they worked very hard. Tim Loy and the whole matchmaking crew of Valor, they worked very hard to put this together, so I think it's going to be a very exciting fight. Between two very competent fighters. Creighton Shivell, one thing to point out about him is he is 6'3" and typically fights at 145 pounds. He is a lean, tall, huge 145, of course, lightweight tonight, 155-pounder.
Zach Craig and Creighton Shivell, tell you a little bit about those two here in this next bout here at Valor Fights in Kingsport. And Zach Craig out of that Triangle Gym made his debut at 155. He won the guillotine choke back in October and was originally scheduled to fight Nick Baker, but that fell through. Back to the cage, and Jennifer.
And his opponent, please welcome to the cage, Creighton Shivell.
Now, Creighton Shivell has had one kickboxing fight. We saw it back in December, and he looked extremely good, man. And I saw him warming up back in the back there. The traditional style of like Muay Thai style kicker. I mean, he really throws hard for the fences, and he really utilizes that tall, lanky stature that he possesses.
You can hear the ladies cheering for Creighton Shivell making his way out.
Well, he is a youngster, you know, so.
Creighton Shivell, only 18 years old. Take a look at the tail of the tape between the two. Zach Craig at 19 years old, Creighton Shivell at 18. Craig stands 5'10". Creighton Shivell with the advantage in terms of height at 6'3", so 5-inch height advantage for Shivell. And then in the official weigh-ins last night, Shivell weighed in at 154, Craig at 153. Zach Craig lost his last bout coming into this one. He's 1-1, won his debut against Charlie Durham, and then lost to Ben Brown in February at Valor Fights 31. And then, of course, the debut of Creighton Shivell here tonight in this MMA bout at 155 pounds in this lightweight bout. Shivell won the kickboxing bout that, Casey, you mentioned. That was in December. Regular training partner of Devin Ward and Judd Brown, and will have that reach advantage. I mean, with his height and the reach advantage as well. Former soccer player, 6'3", former soccer player as well.
Yeah, extremely tall. I talked about it before. I fought at 145. I'm 5'11". Back in the day, I was considered a monster that weight, and this was in the early 2000s. Now you've got kids way bigger than me.
All right, back to the cage. Our fighter introduction, Jennifer.
This bout is scheduled for 3 3-minute rounds. First, fighting out of the Hog's red corner, he weighed in at 153 pounds, holds a record of 1 win and 1 defeat, and represents Triangle Gym in Tryon, Georgia. Give it up for Zach Craig. And his opponent, fighting out of the OEB blue corner, he weighed in at 154 pounds, is representing Bushido MMA in Kingsport, Tennessee, and is making his MMA debut. Put your hands together for Creighton Shivell. Your referee for the action is Nate Jolly.
Nate Jolly, our referee in this lightweight bout at 155. Zach Craig in the black and red Venom trunks. Creighton Shivell with a big reaction from the fans in the black trunks, making his debut. Lightweight bout at 155, 3 3-minute rounds, amateur MMA, and we are underway. Miss on the head kick by Shivell.
Shivell, so much reach there. Already slinging those kicks, and look at that, it closes the distance. And it's taken down. That was a pretty dynamic takedown there. Shivell is very long and lanky. I'm anxious to see the guard work here.
Two young guys once again featured in this amateur MMA bout.
Oh, here we go, looking for the triangle choke. It's Creighton Shivell. Looks like he may have it secured there.
Long legs.
Maybe not quite yet.
Wow, Shivell stayed on his feet, 1 foot, or 1 leg for a moment, but then was taken down again by Craig.
Zach Craig was close to being locked into that triangle choke. He was able to lift Creighton Shivell up, displaying some tremendous power there.
Yeah.
Now he needs to watch here again because you see Shivell, he's going to try to slip that triangle right back on. Long, lanky.
One shot landed by Craig. Postures up, pushed out, and then back on top.
And Craig, it looks to be passing the guard here.
Pushes Shivell up against the cage.
Yeah, Shivell continuing to fight.
Craig trying to posture up here.
Yeah. Now you see that Zach Craig does have the right leg of Creighton Shivell kind of tripped in there. And Shivell is able to push him off.
Wow.
But Craig continues to fire off. That was a hard shot to the body. This might be all it for Craig. He took a hard shot there. You can tell he's feeling it.
Craig is still a little wobbly as he backs up.
Yeah, here comes Creighton. Yeah, it looks like Creighton is on the prowl here. Those are hard shots.
Wow, Shivell doing damage. A punch returned from Craig.
Oh, that was a hard shot.
Wow.
Another kick. Beautiful kicks there by Creighton Shivell. Zach Craig firing back and pushes to the cage here. Creighton Shivell possibly with a guillotine.
With that height advantage, cranking it. Can he finish Craig?
He's pulling hard. It's Creighton Shivell.
Craig doing a great job staying alive here.
Look for Shivell to break away and land big shots here.
Got the hand and he's out. Craig.
Oh, big kick there. And Shivell fires back with one of his own.
Craig is still wobbly though. Final seconds of round number 1. Craig survives this first round.
Very entertaining first round. Woo.
Definitely to Creighton though, right?
It could be either way. I mean, Zach Craig spent a lot of time on top. He did complete the takedown, and he did do all of that ground and pound. So it just depends on how the judges see this. Creighton Shivell did look much, much cleaner on the feet, though. Landed some beautiful shots. Those kicks were textbook.
How much should the judges look at how close a fighter is to being out? Because he was stunned. He was close to being finished. He was nearly finished in that choke, the standing guillotine. How much does that factor in as opposed to what a takedown might be?
Well, once again, you judge it by all three of the judges. One corner, in one area might see it one way. The other judge might see it another way. That's why it's kind of, if you're in the corner of either of these, you might say, hey, who knows who really took it? Right. Shivell did look more forthcoming, though, in the round, so I would probably have given it to him.
Our judges, Jason Kubek, Neil Fralworth, Lisa Duran. This amateur bout sanctioned by UMMAF. Nate Jolly, our referee. We're underway. Round 2 of 3 here at Valor Fights Apex 10.
Oh, here we go. Zach Craig catches the kick of Creighton Shivell.
And got the neck.
Uh-oh, here we go, Shivell with that guillotine yet again. This one may be really tight. You can see Zach Craig grimacing here.
Leaning back on it.
Now, of course, you've really got to watch as well when you attack those guillotines. You can burn your biceps out.
Craig gets out, but he looks the worse for the wear.
Oh, absolutely. And Shivell just that was beautiful. That was beautiful there.
What a spinning kick by Creighton Shivell. Goodness.
Another big kick.
Caught it.
And Zach Craig lands in crossbody position.
How much does Craig have in the gas tank, though?
Finishes with a complete crossbody, uncontested here.
But
Creighton Shivell appears to be refined here, relaxed, and and within his wits.
Taking some
Now,
deep
one thing he
breaths
needs
there.
to watch is Zach Craig here can set up the arm triangle. If Creighton Shivell allows that left arm to go over his head.
Craig listening to his corner, wanted him to push Shivell into
One
the
other
cage.
thing, exactly. You got to watch those feet in the cage there by Shivell. He's so long and lanky, he could create a lateral here.
Yeah. You can wall walk, but you can't get a grip with your feet on that cage. Nate Jolly noticed it.
You can see here that the ground is really Zach Craig's position here in this fight because Creighton Shivell is absolutely dominant on the feet and very confident. You can see it.
Nate Craig was on the brink of being finished multiple times in this fight, and now he's using valuable time on top of Creighton Shivell and perhaps influencing the judges enough to win this round.
He's not landed very many shots, but he is dominant. But I don't know if he's done enough to negate the absolute dominance in the early goings of this round by Creighton Shivell.
How close is this to being stood up?
Well, you'll watch Nate Jolly, and he'll start to give the commands here. You can see he's giving a command. They're not going to let him just chill there.
Not a whole lot happening. We don't have the best view. And I think Nate Jolly's thinking about it.
All right, here we go. If Zach Craig doesn't get that motion going, this is the thing, though. He isn't crossbody.
No.
So it's very seldom will you see a fight stood up in a dominant position, but it has happened.
Final seconds of round number 2. And it's going to end on the mat. And that's the end of round number 2. So
Close
what do you
round.
do? What do you do with that round?
Well, close round. I mean, because Creighton Shivell again was so dominant in applying damage early on, I would still give it to him, even though if Craig could have, got off a few shots there on the ground, he could have easily turned the tides. I don't think he did enough though.
Yeah, I agree with you. And boy, that spinning kick was spectacular.
But again, if you have a judge that is a grappling enthusiast, they very well could have given that because, again, the takedown does negate a lot of the striking and then in ground control and dominance. So, again, I wouldn't be in Creighton Shivell's corner saying, hey, you got this round, you got these 2 rounds, coast it out. And I don't think he's going to do that anyway. I think once he gets the opportunity to stand up and strike, he's going to implement that.
For Zach Craig, it's been about the choke one way or the other in his wins and losses. He lost to Ben Brown via rear naked choke in the second round with 1 second to go, and then he beat Charlie Durham via guillotine choke in the second round back in October of 2015. Round number 3 of this lightweight battle, 155, third and final round. Fake on the kick. Boy, Craig still looks just exhausted.
Shivell on his toes. Again, if I'm Craig, I'm going to be closing that distance, not trying to strike. Close that distance, get it to the ground, because that's where he's had most of his success.
Shivell able to avoid the takedown.
And again, I think he hesitates on it because Shivell has been so active with that guillotine choke.
Is Shivell not as active because he doesn't want to get taken down? He wants to keep it on his feet.
It could be, and it could be fatigue as well. Both of these guys have fought a lot. They're very young in their careers. Nerves are playing into this. I'm sure that was a hard shot. That's another headshot. Those are sick.
Man, devastating.
Craig with his hands still down.
Lets the hands go there as well. And now he's just...
Dude, Craig is just a pin cushion for Creighton Shivell right now.
Craig going with it for a single leg. Sprawl by Shivell.
And a shot almost in desperation here. And then we may see Creighton Shivell moving to the back, advancing to a dominant position for the first time in this bout. Or maybe he'll just deliver some damage here.
And
in mount position is Creighton Shivell. This could be the end of the fight here.
Craig postures up.
Looked like Zach Craig was looking to slip around to the back. Instead, he gives the rear naked choke position up. And this could be the end of the fight.
Flattens him out. Nate Jolly.
And it's done.
What a win by Creighton Shivell in his MMA debut.
What a fight in general. Two youngsters, 18 and 19 years old. Props to them both, but a big shout out there to Creighton Shivell in that finish.
So even though he wanted to keep the fight standing up because he had the clear advantage there, he got the win on the mat with the choke.
With the rear naked choke,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, man. I think that he completely took the steam out of Zach, and there wasn't anything left. I think it was all elementary, and it was Creighton Shivell going home with his first win and his first mixed martial arts.
How about
outing.
that?
Yeah, wonderful.
Bushido MMA out of Kingsport. Fans loved it too, and they were entertained. An early third round win in his MMA debut for Creighton Shivell over Nate Craig, who falls to 1-2.
Well, you can tell Mr. Shivell is a tremendous fan favorite here. You know, you said that when he was walking out, the fans were going crazy. Big future for this kid.
Fans responded again while you were mentioning that, Casey. All right, we got, we have a great night of action for you tonight. Apex 10 in Kingsport, the Kingsport Civic Auditorium. I'm Vince Ferrara alongside Casey Oxendine. But first, the announcement of our winner in this bout, lightweight bout presented by Valor 32. And by the way, for upcoming events, those of you that are watching at valorfights.com, it's where you can always find info on upcoming events. Follow Valor Fights on Facebook, on Twitter, and YouTube as well for videos of some of the exciting MMA action here at Valor Fights. All right, to the cage, and Jennifer.
Your referee stops this fight at 1 minute and 45 seconds into the third round for your winner by rear naked choke, Creighton Shivell.